Hey guys, my name is Zodiac and welcome back to another episode of Woodville here in City Skylines 2, where we're now witnessing the brand new marina that we built in the last episode. It's part of our brand new university town, and it's a way people utilize public transport along the waterways. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it right now. And lots of people are using it, which is really, really exciting. We also did a lot of other expansions too, but today we're going to solve a couple of problems. One of them is the vast amount of vehicles parking on the road. We're going to put that to an end, boys, and create more parking spaces right now. And also, I believe we are running out of trains. I could be wrong, but I'm sure last episode we had an issue or something popped up saying, not enough trades, Zodiac. I'm sure one of the lines is complaining, but I can't remember where it is. I don't remember. So I need to build a brand new rail yard, and I'm going to designate this area around here because we got our tram depot over here. Train lines are running in and out. We got to try and extend where the second line is going to run, and then be able to implement the rail depot or the rail yard. So lots of things we got to do. We want to build this area up over here. A lot of you guys said for the marina around on this part of it, to do a lot of the mixed zoning where there's like stores and houses above it, which I think is perfect. Really do think it's perfect right now. Look at the tram lines running through all the trees. This is turning out to be quite a nice little area. So if you are enjoying the series so far and want to see more, then make sure you smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you're new around here so you do get notified when more episodes do come out. Why is there cargo ships running down here? Yo, what's going on here right now? I didn't say cargo ships you could run down here right now, but, you know, not really much I can do about that. They're just transporting from different parts of the region. Right, so first things first then, I want to see if we can first solve some of the parking. Now, without changing the roads, and what I mean by that is I could actually upgrade the roads to add something like trees on the side or like a sidewalk, and that gets rid of the ability for them to then park. I want to see if I can first drop down a bunch of car parks to see if I can kind of solve it that way. You can see the car parks that we do currently have available, but I want to take it a little bit further. Now, we've got different variations we can pretty much pick from. We've got underground. We've got these big automated ones. I can go for the multi-level story ones, which is all pretty good. And I think, for the most part, I will utilize some of them. Like, definitely for where we're doing, like, you know, big built-up areas like the train station. Could really do, like, a multi-story car park. That's pretty good right there. But we need more parking within this vicinity. A lot of people live here. So let's see what we can ultimately do. Right, so I want capacity. Small building car park there. That's actually a pretty handy building if I'm being completely honest with you. I might just drop that there. I don't think there's any upgrades to it, but it only gives us 42. I'll get rid of that tree, and I'll get rid of that tree there because I do need to kind of drive in. I want to take a look at some of the very large ones. These might be a little bit too big. We do need some parking around this vicinity. But it's all about getting the right size of parking. The solar panel ones aren't too shabby. Let me also anarchy some of these parking situations in. Put you there. Move you over. Now, the one with the solar panels is actually quite a nice structure. It does look like it's kind of meant to be there in many ways. They don't want to utilize too much of the supermarket car parking. And what about the really, really thin, narrow ones? Like the canopy covered ones, they'll be pretty handy for running along the waterfront. So what I could do, I could go with... Ooh. See, I could implement you there. And then when I eventually build my little walkway coming down, we can make it go past the car park there. That's actually a pretty good idea. Now, that long variant... Is there smaller variants? There is that we can utilize. Just get rid of some of the trees as they're going to be in the way. It's just about dotting the odd car park here and there to fill in all the gaps. A little bit of car park in here, boys. There we go. I'll have to add in some trees to kind of fill in the nooks and crannies. And I'm going to do something glorious down here when we get all the mixed zoning in. But around here is a big one too. It's mainly this that I'm trying to kind of, you know, cover my back on. Now, the very large car park, I don't want to go too big where it doesn't feel right. Like, that is quite a large car parking structure. So if I moved it to here, that's more centralized. And then let me see if I can integrate it before I do anything else. So utilizing the path, I could run this going all the way down. And then obviously run it going up. Like that. So that creates like a walkway through the back of it. And then do a walkway coming from here. Going all the way down as well. Now, do they have the ability to walk in and connect? I assume they do. But I'll, of course, add my little sidewalk to the side. And then the same here as well. Right, that incorporates that. So I could, in theory, decide to do some slightly bigger buildings around here. Not too big, not too big. Just to make it make sense. Now, if I came off this and then went through, so you got the snap there, and then this I'm gonna have to kind of do a little bit of a complex curve to wiggle it down to make it match in. Now it's a bit funky, but once we got the right size of buildings in here, should be pretty handy. So let me go for some southwest medium density, which is this, which we got that within this vicinity, which is the perfect sizing. So let me just kind of go a little bit crazy with the dropping of it all in. And that should build itself up nice. All different angles, different shapes, different sizes, which should look pretty good. And then we'll add in a bunch of trees and stuff to kind of fine-tune it all out. Now, it's not going to solve all my parking issues. They're still going to park on the street, and they'll still be there until the citizens get in their car, drive away, and then when they come back, they could then choose to park. So we'll have to see what happens. There's a few more I want to quickly drop down now before we then focus on doing some of the train stuff. So I reckon I'd do another little drop just there. Doing some around here as well is probably a good idea. Like if I threw in some just there. And where else could we squeeze in some that makes a little bit of sense? Just here maybe. Because I don't want to build up every area. I want some tree areas. So, and, you know, I can put in some little parks and stuff like that. Let's just see how that goes on. Worst case scenario, right? We make it where they can't park on the streets and then force them into the car park. But they might change their minds first. They might change their minds. Right, next then, I want to work with this area. I want to see if we can implement a new rail yard. It is quite a large kind of structure. But we've got two lines that run into here. One's already set up. This one's going to kind of continue, turn, and then go in that direction. Lead out. We don't know where it's going to go yet, but it will lead out in that direction to a certain extent. So around here, then, will be good to implement the rail yard. Now, the rail yard itself is quite a large building. Where is it? There we go, the rail yard. It is quite a large building, but we could drop it something like here. Or I could drop it like there, and then have the rail line all run into this, or kind of do a nice little bend or whatnot. But it then gives me the ability to kind of build around here and build some type of an industrial area. But at the same time, the rail yard probably could have done with going here on a diagonal, and then that main line could have ran through and that could have connected to it, which would mean I would then need to switch out where the tram depot is. I think the rail yard has a better position in here. I just don't know where I can reposition the tram line. Now, I could throw it over on this side. Not a problem. And it could technically be the buffer between the two towns. That could work out. That actually could work out. So why don't I do that then? Why don't I pick to go here? Actually, if I come off this... No, I'm going to come off this here. I've got an idea. Right, because this could be where we do... And let me just play around with this real quick. So if I ran you to there. Right, just give me a second. Give me a second, boys. Ran you to there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill off you, kill off you, kill off you, and kill off you. What that means is I delete you, get rid of them. And that becomes my little perimeter road going around, as you can now see. And then we'll implement the tram line just there, or the tram depot, tram station, however you want to call it. Oh, this actually... Oh, no. Oh, no, I've done it wrong again. Sadiak! You meant to go on the bend. You meant to implement bendy wendies. You fool. Right. So that is a 40 by a 40. Nice connection. A 40 by a 40. Nice connection. And then this one's a bit bigger, a 56 by a 56. So that runs round then, and that's pretty much as the marina area is going to go. That's as big as that little area is going to be. So then what I can do is I can then build from this, and we'll probably pick down here, right, to reposition this building. So I'll pause in case there's any problems. Oh, actually, I got to go a bit further down. I'm going to go right to the end here. Is that enough right at the end? Didn't realize how big of a building this was. Yes, that should be fine. So if I drop you there, and then do what I like to do, is build my little perimeter road. Because I really do feel like it just boxes things in nicely. Right. Delete you. And then delete all of this. We'll have to utilize that road for something. And then just upgrade it to have the tram lines running through it. Get rid of it on there, get rid of it on there. And then we're back to normal. I know there's like an extension I can do, which I'll throw in. There we go. All good. All good. We've just happened to reposition it so we can set up the rail yard here a little bit better. So the rail yard then. Now we should be able to incorporate the main line of the rail yard also being the main line of the line that we don't currently have connected, if that makes sense. So if I just position this just right, and I think we would go around about here. Actually, no, we can actually pull it on the other one, so I can angle it a little bit more, maybe. Right, scrap that. If I picked here, and that runs straight, I should be able to snap it to it, right? Yes. Oh, that's glorious. So if I put that there, I'm going to have to slightly redo the little riverbed just there. And then have this one run into that one. That bend should still be okay, right? I might have to... There's a lot of trees on the train line, isn't there? Right, they shouldn't be... We should still have the trains run through. That shouldn't be an issue. But then that rail yard is perfectly now positioned. Glorious. Glorious, he says. Now, you can add upgrades to it. I could add a maintenance hall. I could add extra tracks, which is really pushing it then at that point. But it could be a good little addition. And then I could, in theory, do a little bend just here for trains to come out. Unless they just... Then again, they'll come down here, stop, turn, and go that way anyway. So I haven't got to really mess around with anything, if I'm being honest. Right, bring this going straight just that little bit more. I'm now having to deal with snappy snap snaps. So bring that to there. And... oh, actually, it does have to run on the main line. Because I can't bypass it through that, can I? No. So, delete you back. And then if I choose to run this, and we'll do a complex curve. So if I go down by a little bit there to there. All right, let me do that again. So let me pick here to there. That's an 80. So that runs in. I'm hoping that... that should be okay. That train's made it through here anyway, so that's completely okay. That will run in there okay. That runs through. No problemo. And then we're just going to run... the road going up. Like that. It hasn't got to be fancy. It hasn't got to do any shenanigans. But that's all it needs to do. At the moment. At the moment, he says. No train or rail connections on that. It comes out of there, so that line has to technically continue to a certain extent. Let me just quickly fine-tune the landscaping right now, so make this a lot smaller. And let me get that height. Just to run the riverbed a bit better. And then the main line will kind of continue to go along this way. So I'm going to have to improvise this for a moment because I don't truly know where the main line is going to run after this. So we'll just kind of extend it and then leave it there. So in theory, it's probably going to run up and over that way and then turn. So if I just utilize... well, it's hard to say really, isn't it? To get it to run parallel. Okay, if I just very loosely just build this. Well, where does it run straight? Nah, we'll just kind of do a bend. So we'll do that. Okay, that's all we're going to do. But then again, I might redesign where the river runs to have a better connection coming out. That's what I could do. But I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to stress right now. So, if I went complexing, boys, bam, 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 and then I went right. I know this is wild. I know this is clearly very wild right now, these bends, okay? Just deal with them for a second until I figure out what we're going to do in that area. I just want to kind of get this connected in, so I haven't got a deal. Bam. Bam. No, no, no. I haven't got to then deal with the symbols popping up on me all the time. So if I went there to there, there to there, I can then go there to there. Right, I know it's a mess. Just deal with it for a second, okay? Just deal with it for a second, and I'll redesign it a lot better. Trains can now come out, they'll go back down, and then they'll turn around and come this way. But now I've got my trains back. It was a cargo train that I was missing. Right, that's what I was missing. Gotcha. So if I fast forward, bit of a hunky-dory they've got to do, but they can manage it, and then off they go. See? No issues, no problemos. No issues, no problemos. Well, what's going on here, boys? Do we need a dedicated right turning lane of some sorts? Is this... I mean, this is something else I mentioned last episode as well. I don't know what traffic issues this new town would have caused, but we are slowly starting to fill the car parks up, which is pretty good to see. Actually filling lots of car parks up now. Is it either people coming to work or coming home from work? Could they be less people making their way to the actual roads? I don't know. It's an interesting one. It is. But that's set us up very loosely right now. Very loosey-goosey. We're now set up. I know this looks a little bit weird, but what I'll eventually end up doing is probably getting rid of the river, creating a better system where it all runs out, and then redoing the river. Because I don't want to get rid of it. I do like it. But then again, I could also just kill it off there, reclaim that bit of the river, and then this is all mine. Okay. Oh, another passenger train coming out. Interesting. Maybe it went in for some maintenance, boys. It probably went in for some maintenance. Right. Okay. Very good, very good, very good. Now, they are slowly starting to fill my car parks up, which is pretty handy to see. A lot of the zoning doesn't want to fully get complete, but I don't mind that because I can plant a bunch of trees down and make it look pretty nice, pretty sweet. Let's do some mixed zoning then around this area. So we're going to go for the roads. I'll probably come off... We'll come off differently to how we would normally do it. So if I ran down to there, you get a different then connection. Same here. It's a different type of spacing that we've then got coming off this area. So initially, we'll have this run all the way down. And then we're going to create some little dividing roads. So I reckon we do... Do I go the alley style road? That is always really, really handy. And I'm going to pick here. So the alleyways are kind of... It's a road, but it's also a way for me to get pedestrians to cut through the area. And bring them directly up to the car park. Ooh, I don't like how they've done that. Bring them directly up to the car park. Okay, we're going to... Do you know what? Because of how it's staggered, we're going to lose something somewhere. And that's just what we're losing right now. So what I'll do is I'll bring you across there. I'm also going to bring you to there in. And then we're creating lots of walkability. Right, just bear with me on this. I'm kind of freehanding this. So you get like a not a plaza style, but you get like an old school, old town kind of vibe feel down here, which is pretty nice. We'll drop in some car parking first. I do like these multi-level ones because it does allow us to obviously implement large quantities of vehicle in one given area of parking. That is a good little spot there for it. I don't know how well that's gonna, feed into it in the long run. But let's see what happens with some multi-zoned stuff now. So, Southwest mixed housing. Let's see how that kind of gets built. I'm not quite sure how big that's ultimately going to be. Do you know, it might be a reasonable size for this. I'll do you there. Some more Southwest. And then we'll go back to the normal style. So we're going to do it all mixed here. We'll do all mixed zoning and see what we get from that. That will be really interesting. Ooh, the Iron Press building we just unlocked. Nice. So, yeah, they are filling up the car parks, but there's still a lot of vehicles on the road. So I don't think I'm ultimately going to be able to solve what I set out to do. How much do them underground one? Well, not these are not underground, but you know what I mean. These are, they carry 42. Am I destined to do like a bigger variant of the car parking? See, that now feels quite nice. But I'm inadvertently causing myself a big issue because, look, we've got traffic now in places. When I built Redwood, we always had a highway running down the side to alleviate any pressures or any traffic. There's a crash there. We always had that, okay? Big junction, beautiful. I haven't built Oak Bay with the same concept. Yeah, we've got highways that run to and stop as when they enter the town. Now, there's a couple of little issues here. Obviously, I've got to wait for the traffic to initially move in. We are moving in a lot of residents all at one time. So I've got to be careful there. Did we get a hospital in the end? We got a little bit of a medical facility here. It's not a hospital, is it? I think I mentioned this last time. It's a hearse. We need like a cemetery or crematorium. UK Parish Church, cemetery, crematorium. I think a crematorium is probably the way to go. I'll go for a small French one, which has a storage capacity of 10. So I'm going to go for the crematorium. I'll implement that. I'm going to implement it just here. Let me just play around with some roads first. If I kind of made it parallel to this, so I'll move it up a bit more. There we go. Where is it? There it is. Quickly build a perimeter road. But I want to get rid of the connection to it there, so it's separate and stands alone. And then I'll choose to run this up to then bend you in to connect like that. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Now, the only roads... I might say the only roads we don't get parking... Oh, that's weird, isn't it? How come that road... Oh, no, that's got the stations. That's the stops for the trams. That's why we don't see any parking there. Large amount of parking in the centre. Is there many vehicles parking here? There is starting to be a few. But this will have a lot more hustle and a bustle right now. And you might see a lot of then demand for that tram stop over there, unless they just decide to walk up. So yeah, this becomes my main road driving through, and it's now starting to get super busy. So I am inadvertently creating my own problems. It's like we need to have a bypass for the town, which we've technically got if you're coming this way. But remember I said, I don't know what traffic problems I'm causing myself? Well, now you can see the traffic problems I'm causing myself. Which is not a huge issue. Again, we have to wait for everyone to first move into the area. But obviously, the more people we move in, the more problems we are inadvertently causing ourselves. And that's why we need to make sure that we sort out public transport. Now, we do have a way for them to transport from Piper Mills up to here, from like Redwood to over there. We have the train system implemented, and public transport is free. We do charge for car parks, which is our way of kind of saying, like, you know, please don't use cars because you have to pay for them. Use public transport. It is free. But do they listen? Not really. They don't really listen to us. But this is pretty handy. We got more hearse stuff here. Let me select this to be its operating district. And I can put some upgrades on it. So we can add in the ability to have more processing capabilities. I can add extra vehicle stuff as well. So I think the vehicle stuff will be really good just dotted over here. So let me go to there. And then let me run to here. And then connect these two up. And then select during, grab that. Right, I'm going to get rid of the zoning just here. Now, once I put all my trees in, this will feel quite nice. But we've got like a nice little dedicated crematorium area. The garages are separate. Not too shabby, boys. Not too shabby. So that inadvertently solves a lot of our problems. It does create us more problems. It really does create us more problems. But that's part of the fun, because now we've got to try and figure how to fix some of the stuff. So this is when you need to start deciding, okay, so you know this big highway that runs to Redwood, where you got a lot of the traffic coming from? Does it make sense to now maybe try and improve or extend it, build proper highways, give us larger capacities on this? This seems to be a big issue. So do we need to kind of now think about adding an extra lane or two on this highway? So highway, 4 lane. Alright, run this down to here. So we've got 4 lanes right now, which should push the vehicles through a bit quicker. But also that they get tripped up on this as they're trying to turn in and go round. So maybe having a little bit of a relief road or an additional road, because they're trying to get from here to go down. I think they're utilizing this or this way. If I can make it quicker to run through there, maybe to get up to here, could be a possibility. But let's just now see, with the wider and higher capacity roads, it's cleared a bit of the backlog. But let's just see when they return to go home on the evening. It could also, again, be the initial people moving in for the first time. They're filling up the vehicles. There's only so much we can actually do with car parking. There is only so much we can actually do. But another car park right there on the edge. That doesn't feel right, that one. So instead, we'll go with... Which is the one I had in? It was this one, wasn't it? Because that still allows me to kind of place some type of a walkway around it. And then there is a smaller variant, isn't there, that I can implement. So a couple of car parks dotted around the edge. Give us as much ability to store vehicles off the road as I can. Right, this is starting to feel like it's coming along pretty nice. Like I said, granted, I have created myself a whole world of new issues. I really, really have. I completely understand that. But that's part of the fun of trying to solve them. We had loads of issues in Redwood, completely solved them. And now we're going to experience those same pains, trials, and tribulations all over again. And it's kind of exciting. There's a way in which I can maybe extend this highway. Rather than bending round, having some extensions that come up and over. I wouldn't say tear through, that's the wrong way to put it. But there's got to be better variations. Now, they're all turning into there. We did upgrade the road for 4 lanes to there. Which did put a lot of pressure on this roundabout. But everyone's going to start going home soon as well. So we'll see where the traffic then comes back from that. Because it's all still singular highways. There's a nice bypassing road that comes this way, obviously going towards Sycamore Woods. But we just got to find out where the traffic is coming from and going to, for us to be able to then solve it. Having that junction there is probably not a good idea. It's going to be obviously a lot better to run it a bit further up and have it staggered further. 2 junctions close by is never good. But that is getting a little bit busy and can quite easily get overloaded. So any traffic yet? No traffic yet. This is on the evening, by the way, them all going home. So it's either a case of I never had traffic in the first place. It was just people moving in causing the traffic, or the traffic is worse on the way to work than it is going home. Unless that 4-lane road there just simply solved it. I'm not too sure. We'll have to wait for the next day to kind of really unravel that one. So we really unravel it. Right, so yeah, we've added in a bunch of car parking, but they really are loving parking on the streets. It's the same thing for downtown Redwood. I added in as much parking as I could, but they do love parking on the streets. It just goes hand in hand for them, so there's not really much going to be able to kind of get away with that. We'll add in some more zoning anyway. I'm thinking we now play around with this area, and I'm going to utilize little alley-style roads again. And I'm hoping if I can do a little road like that. Can I put like a little bit of a park area in the middle? I'm not too sure what would go well or the best. Let me go for some larger ones. A ruin site. That makes no sense. That could be pretty good. Oh, that's way too big. Maybe. Way too big. Way too big. The Chirper Adventure. I think this here might be okay. I need to push it back a bit further. So instead I go here. Delete you. But also if I ran down here, because there was another variation of park that went sideways. Was it you? No. Was it you? It was you. But then having this here is perfect. Right, we'll run with you. We'll run with you. Right, where's the edge of this? Right, drop you in like that. I'll have a connection there. I'll have a connection there. So there's just my road connections. And it'll do my walkability connections. So there. There. Here. And that's my walkability. And I'm thinking maybe... Do I dare say it? A couple of offices? Is that a bridge? No, it's just the walls there because it goes slightly uphill. That's definitely a bridge. Wait, that could be a bridge. Hold on, that could be a bridge. Right. Stick it to the ground. Thank you. Let me delete you. Right, I don't think there's any... Ooh, hello. I was about to say, I don't think there's any way around that one. So I'll just leave it as... Oh, no, it's sorted itself. It's sorted itself. That just happens to be low down. I could raise it slightly to match it, but that's as far as I'm going to take it. Yeah, I might drop in some offices around here. Now we've got Southwest Star offices. I can do some larger ones. I'm gonna go high density offices, but in small areas. How would this look? How big does a high density office go? That's way too big for me. That was way too big. We'll stick to that. There we go. That would have been way too big. Alright. I don't really have much office demand. So it's not really going to go too far. But what is the zoning over here like? So we'll definitely do some residential. And I'm going to go with some of the waterfront properties. And the reason I say that in here is because they're near water. Or no? What? No one wants to build? Why is there no building here? Huh? 'Tis going on here. That was very weird. Huh? I mean, that's fine, because I can drop, like, a different style of building in or something. Okay, they weren't as big as I thought they were going to be. But it will solve the area pretty nice. We have... This town's, like, very multi-use, isn't it? It is very multi-use. I really weirdly do like it. So, we did unlock another building, didn't we? And I can't remember... It was this one here, wasn't it? The Iron Press building. So where could that be utilized? Yeah, maybe here. Having it dead center. Very good, very good, very good. And is there any other commercial or buildings like that that could be very beneficial? Any officey buildings? I know we've got like a round one over there already. How does that look? Do you know what? That's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not too bad, boys. This is looking pretty good. I've just got to be really careful with the traffic. Right, so this is 7 in the morning right now. And we're not really experiencing... Okay, we are experiencing traffic issues. Do I need to bulk this back a bit more on the 4 lanes? Just so they can get into their lane a bit sooner? I think that's what needed to be happening there. So we can then allow 2 vehicles to enter the roundabout at once, but they're loving the idea of coming down here to make that left turn to go over. So there's somewhere in it where I can create a faster route from here down. There is definitely an idea there. Right, now we are starting to get some traffic at 8 AM. And it's only seeming to be here. We're only getting the indication it's here anyway. Okay, okay, okay. It's not a large amount of traffic. But these guys coming down to make a left turn are getting the priority. So figuring out a way soon to give us a better bypass would be pretty handy. Let's say I could utilize this road, but this road is busy anyway. We've got space here to build a bigger junction if I wanted to kind of create something that leads in that direction. And then can kind of utilize both directions of the highway coming down that way and then this way. But is that... Now the residents have moved in and this is just now generic traffic. I don't think it's enough to be worried about, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't feel like at this moment in time it's truly enough to worry about. Right. Let me now get in some generic officing. Like that, and then that will all build up. And then whatever's left in this area, we'll end up throwing in some trees and stuff, just to kind of finalising it all off. So, we've inadvertently not technically created any traffic issues. Famous last words, guys. If next episode I've got ridiculous amount of traffic issues, come back to this episode and go and say, like, Zediac, if only you knew. If only you knew, boys. But we've had some parking in. This does look crazy, this parking. This really does look crazy. There we go. We'll just kind of slightly lift it. But there's still lots of parking around anyway. Lots of vehicles on the streets. But at least we're getting money for them, is the main thing. We've created a mixed area over here, which I wonder if is it now... Yeah, it's creating a lot of people walking along the boardwalks to wanting to get onto the ships. This is actually going to be quite a utilised line now at this point, isn't it? This is this line here, which could it do with an extra... Oh, no, that's going out of the region. That's got 2 assigned vehicles. Ticket price is free. Yes, it does remain free. Do I add an additional vehicle on? Let's go for an extra vehicle on that line there. And this is the one leading down to Derby and Piper Mills. Okay. Okay, boys. Okay, right now. The trains are coming in. Is this line being heavily utilised? Train line 4. Yep. Could we do an extra train on this? I'll add an extra train on, not for capacity, but for frequency. Increase the frequency in which the trains get over here, making the line seem faster in a weird way. And hopefully they'll then start using it a little bit more. But I don't feel like I want to take Oak Bay any further. There's a few little nooks and crannies to kind of fill in. And at most, I might do these islands. But it's just now making sure it's super efficient to get in and out of the area. I do worry about this junction. And we'll have to take a look at splitting where that is. So maybe do a connection there and run a road going down there as well. That worries me slightly. But having 4 lanes seems to have solved the problem for now. But we'll see how long they last. There's definitely room around here to kind of bring that road in and that road in. Do some form of a junction that leads over to a junction there to connect up to this highway system. To if I can get the people who want to travel from downtown Redwood to Oak Bay, if I can get them to bypass Piper Mills, that would solve a lot of the traffic issues. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. It could be a good idea. It could be a silly idea. It could be something that's not needed because of our public transport. And we've also got to maybe kind of take a look at the train line because it does look like it's getting super busy in these areas. And there's a lot of people chopping and changing on this station. We could add station services to make them feel a little bit better. Also add ticket machines. Does that speed up the process? Oh, it just increases the comfort levels. So everyone feels a little bit happier at this station. Right. They're all getting on and off the train. It's what we like to see. It's busy because that's the line that crisscrosses to go to Oak Bay. So the sooner I can get this line running out, maybe we can kind of incorporate it to go to Sycamore Woods. Then we're going to come down this way, shortcut route, implement highways. We could make this really, really efficient. Now, obviously, we've added a lot more people now living here. There is now 17,000 people living in Oak Bay. Downtown Redwood's got 24,000. Redwood's got 3,500, 1,700, 1,200. Nobody. Sycamore Woods. It's our second most populous area. And if I the way I'm going, it could become our most populous area if I'm not too careful. So I kind of need to slow down a bit. But it's crazy to think it's got that many people compared to downtown Redwood, but we're not really seeing the mass traffic issues we once was. Maybe because it's spread out and maybe because it's got multiple entry points, which is why we don't kind of experience the traffic issues. that could be the case. Whereas downtown Redwood, it only had really one way in and out on this junction for a long time. And that's why we've created the monster we currently have. So I don't know. I can see us having to redo this area in favor of extending a highway connection. Could be pretty interesting. But I don't know yet. We shall see. We shall see. Anyway, boys, we're going to end it here. Hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, please smash the like button down below. And until next time, I will see you all soon. So, goodbye.